Good morning, everyone. It's Alan Thornton, President and CEO of St. John's Community Services, back for another episode of Advocates for All. And today I have a very, very special guest, and that is the Chancellor of the University of Tennessee, Martin, and it's Dr. Carver. So Dr. Carver, thank you so much for taking time to join us today.
Alan, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
So Dr. Carver, you have had a history with St. John's in Martin for quite some time. I want to get into that, but before I do, could you describe a little bit of the makeup of UT Martin in terms of the number of students and the number of staff? Because you almost take up, I would say, half or more of the physical, town of Martin.
Sure, absolutely. We've been educating students here in Weakley County since 1900. So about 120 years. We've been part of the University of Tennessee system for almost 100 years. And right now we are at 7,100 students. So what I can tell you, Alan, is we are the smallest public university in the state of Tennessee, and that's the space we want to be in. We want to create a very intimate learning environment. We like to think of ourselves as being able to give the quality and intimacy of a private school, but yet with a public school price. And so we pride ourselves on that. So the city of Martin is about 10,000 people. So we've got 7,100. The town itself is 10,000. So great relationship with our city. And it's a wonderful place to live and go to school.
It's a beautiful city, and you have a beautiful campus. I've had the pleasure of visiting Martin a number of times, and you have to literally drive through the campus at different points to get from point A to point B. And it's such a sense of being part of the overall community. A lot of times you get the sense that universities are kind of this thing up on the hill, they're maybe not necessarily integrated into the community life. UT Martin is really integrated into the community life of Martin, isn't it?
Well, it is. It's of course we're a regional university, so we really recruit. We recruit from all over, and this past August we welcomed in students from 22 states and 3 international countries. But the major footprint is regional, and I think when it comes to town of Martin, we have longstanding great relationships with the mayor. It's walkable. You can walk from downtown to campus and from campus to the local restaurants. And I think just being so close in proximity with a warm, friendly town just really makes for a great environment.
It is a phenomenal environment for sure. And along those lines, a few weeks ago, there was a radiothon that was held in support of St. John's Community Services. And basically the radiothon gave an opportunity for St. John's to be highlighted, and particularly the people that we support there in employment and in residential services that have intellectual and developmental disabilities. Now, you've been involved with St. John's and you've called into this radiothon multiple times over the years because you are a huge advocate for the people that we support and for their ability to realize their potential and their dreams in terms of getting involved in the community as well. Can you speak to that a little bit? Why is that important, and how have you gone about engaging the people we support?
This relationship, I've been at UT Martin 4 years. I'm from this region, but I've been chancellor here for 4 years. But for decades, we've had this great relationship with St. John's, and I think it benefits so many ways. And when I think about St. John's and the work and training, job skill development, skills and life skills that St. John's is providing, but then to have sort of a living laboratory on campus where there are jobs that clients can come in and not just work, but be a part of the UT Martin community. I mean, we've only got about 900 employees, and so it's a pretty small place. And so for our St. John's friends to be here, the people I interact with the most are in food services and the cafeteria. But so it's good for them to come in and have this great place that they can call home and be part of the UT Martin employee community. But what I love the most is how students over a 4-year period will interact with our St. John's employees who are here. I'm thinking specifically in the main dining hall, and come in, and whether they're eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, or grabbing a snack, they're encountering on a daily basis our employees there, and they develop these relationships, and we don't promote it as these are St. John's clients. They are employees of our facility service, residence hall, dining hall. And so for our students, they're just UT Martin employees. And for the students to interact and get on this first name basis, because everybody's got a name tag, right? And it's just really nice to come in daily, and they're interacting with our employees are interacting with our students, and that's good for our students too. It's good for our students to see that. It tears down some walls, and some if there's any hesitancy on part of the students, you see that quickly dissipate, because these are familiar faces that are at work, big smiles on their faces. They're doing a great job, and they're uber friendly. And so I think it's good for the St. John's residents and clients, but I think it's equally good, or maybe even more good, for our campus community that interact with our St. John's friends.
I've heard a similar theme along that line, like over and over again, that whatever hesitancy exists falls away very quickly once people that we support end up working in a work environment, wherever that might be, because of what they bring to the table. And it's that attitude, it's that demeanor, it's how outgoing they can be and how friendly they are. I've heard over and over again that they add so much more to the community that they're working in. And it just is one more reason, I think, why we need to be about community-based employment and creating those opportunities for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, for sure.
Absolutely. And I think it's amazing with the care and concern and the ethic that they put, that our St. John's friends put into their task and their jobs, and lots of pride in their work. And so students see that, right? And they see the pride that our St. John's friends put into each task they're doing, how serious they take their work, but yet how friendly those our students are, and it's good for everybody. And our St. John's friends are working in very high visibility areas, and so lots of public interactions, not just with students, but faculty, staff, alumni, business partners that come on, and it's added a incredible element to our campus and our campus space.
Well, we are so grateful to you for your advocacy for making that a reality and for welcoming them in and having them be part of the UT Martin community. Now, we were talking beforehand, it's been a challenging year for everyone, and certainly for UT Martin. You're in an interesting space with higher education. You've got 7,100 students. A number of those probably are on campus. And then you've got international students too. And how has it been managing through this time that we've been in with the pandemic, just from a sense of your community, your immediate community at the school?
It's been an interesting year. I like to think of myself as really creative, and in this role need to be using visionary type skills. But starting, March the 2nd is when we decided to go remote for a little while, and then it turned out to be for the rest of the semester, and then hybrid format this fall. You went to a more tactical mindset where, okay, what do we need to do to keep our students, faculty, and staff safe? And, how do we clean our residence halls? How many people do we allow to come and sit in our dining hall to eat? How do we clean? And what do we do if someone gets sick? And Alan, I think as we got through that first wave, people rallied and said, okay, we can do this. But then as the pandemic has gone on, and the mask orders, and people feeling relatives or friends or they themselves have gotten sick, I think we've seen, and I'm sure this is true in all businesses, but in education sector, we've seen a lot of mental health issues, whether it be anxiety, depression, feelings of isolation, worry, concern, despair. And so trying to figure out what programs we can offer our employees, what programs we can offer our students to help them be able to get the care they need, or ways to provide some self-care that they could do. And so when you think about 7,100 students and 900 employees in higher ed, sometimes you think, okay, let's take care of the students. That's our job. But you realize our employees, including our friends from St. John's, and making sure they're physically safe in their work, but also, how are you feeling today? And what can we do to check in with you? And if you're having problems and need to talk with someone, let's make sure you can get to someone that you can talk to help you make you feel better. And because these are tough times. So I think that's been the biggest challenge, is shifting from physical health and safety and keeping that in the forefront, but also focusing on the mental health needs of our people.
I commend you for your leadership in that realm, because you're absolutely right. This has been incredibly trying. As a father of two teenagers, seeing how they've tried working through remote education and the stress and anxiety that creates for them. And I can't imagine getting into higher ed and trying to do it as a student as well. It's very, very challenging. And on top of that, the people that are providing those supports and those services, the administration, the essential workers, it's got to be a heavy burden for all involved. I know for us, we get concerned for our staff that are working on the front lines. But we also are concerned for our staff that are in support positions and balancing home life as well as work life remotely. It's incredibly challenging. So it's been a theme of mental health awareness and self-care at St. John's as the pandemic has unfolded. And we've tried similarly to provide those resources for people so that they're aware of what's out there, and also encouraging people to be aware that it's okay to not be okay at times, and we're a safe place to be if you're feeling that way, because we have to get through this together, and it is taking quite a toll. And so we've got to make sure that we are constantly promoting and talking about vulnerability and self-care. So with that in mind, Dr. Carver, what are you doing personally? How are you taking care of yourself through this time? And kind of what breaks are you building in? Kind of what tools are you using to make sure that you're able to manage and lead such an important operation during this time?
Well, thank you. I don't think about it a lot, and then Alan, I find myself waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning thinking about something I didn't do. Two things I'm trying to do. One is about 8:30 at night, I'm just putting down the electronics. I'm not staying on my iPhone. I have it coded so that if my kids or my wife or my parents or head of public safety or someone on cabinet calls, that comes through and dings. But I've had to really put the last week, just say I can't do this as much, and get to it more in the morning. Those important calls can come in, but just trying not to, and be more intentional about being with my family. The second thing is I'm walking the dog a lot, and I walk the dog in the morning, I walk the dog at night, and just get out there. And no matter what I've got on my mind, we've got a little mile and a half, a mile and a half loop. In that time it takes for me to get back, the dog's happy and I'm happy. And so I'm going to continue that. Next week, university's closed, and I may do 3 walks a day with the dog next week. So just trying to give some time to mentally unplug and get some physical activity.
No, that's great. I have a dog, we have multiple dogs. And yes, I think getting outside and getting away and disconnecting and just being in nature, and there's so much to that there, that just is rejuvenating, calming, helping you center. And so I totally can that resonates so much with me and I think with a lot of people right now that are kind of finding those ways,
Yeah.
big or small, to be able to manage their way through. And I love your recommendation for kind of taking that time and setting a time at the end of the day where you're going to unplug. I think that is brilliant because things have gotten more accessible. I mean, there's positives to that, but there's also some challenges that come with that. So I think it's good to have boundaries in place where you're still saying, hey, okay, enough. I need to unplug and disconnect for a period of time. Dr. Carver, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time today. And I want to thank you so much for being such an incredible leader and an incredible advocate for St. John's and for the people we support. We need more people like you, and I'm very grateful that we're connected to you in Martin for sure.
UT Martin is so honored to be a partner, and love the national organization, and sure love the people tied with it locally. So thank you for doing such a great job, and we look forward to many, many more years of a relationship.
Thank you, and have a wonderful Christmas holiday. Enjoy the time off. Enjoy those 3 walks a day.
Oh, you too. Listen, I know I've got 2 teenagers in the house too, so there's only so much rest you and I are going to get.
Very true. All right, take care.
Thank you.